Hey man, welcome in. Pastor Brad here. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about my Christian parody of the Deep Purple classic, Smoke on the Water. We're going to go behind the scenes and I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I put this song together in the studio and 4 elements that I think make this song awesome. The hook or the riff, the intro, which is epic, the chorus, which is super classic, and the guitar solo, which is just through the roof awesome. I'm also going to give you a little backstory on the original song and where it came from, which is super interesting. So thanks for joining me, man. Let's do it. All right, hey man, Pastor Brad here. Welcome in again. We did Blessed Believer last week, which was my parody of Cat Scratch Fever. I broke that down a little bit. If you missed it, I'll put the link in the description. This week, I'm talking about Come to the Water. I tried to get a little closer so you can see things a little bit better. This is my Cakewalk DAW, my digital audio workstation, which is what DAW stands for. And it basically looks like a mixing board. Then you can also go to the view where you see the actual tracks. And this is where I kind of want to break this down. This is a parody of Smoke on the Water, right? And there's 4 things that make this song awesome. The first is the hook. Let me break the hook down. The hook. It's classic, it's timeless, and it's so simple. I'm going to play it on acoustic. It sounds just as cool on an acoustic, I think, as it does on a Stratocaster through a Marshall. But it's so simple and it's so cool. And it's played with a cheater G, which is such a cool, easy chord to learn if you're learning how to play guitar. A full G sounds like this. Got all those notes and it sounds really pretty. But a cheater G, especially through a distorted overdriven amp, sounds awesome. You just hang your hook over the neck at the 3rd fret over the low E string, which ends up making that a G note. You mute the A string out with your thumb. And then I use my 2nd finger to hold the high E string, which is also a G. So you got these 2 Gs going. And you're muting the B string. So you don't have anything there. And then you just play the middle 2 strings, which is a D and a G, which is a G chord. It's a G5. So it just makes a very simple G chord. And it's real easy to grab. You just, right? And so Richie plays that. And then I think he does this too, he uses his index finger at the 3rd fret to hold down those middle 2 strings. Up to fret 5. Then you play that cheater G again. You do that again, those 2 chords at the 3rd fret, and well, now you go up to the 6th fret and come down to the 5, and then you do it again. That's it, man. It's just so simple. But when you add everything else, it rocks. The intro, just by itself, is enough to make this song classic, man. And by intro, I mean the first minute or so of this song. So you've got the 1 guitar. This is what I mean by the intro, okay? And it just builds. It keeps adding elements as it goes through. It just draws you in. And now we get, I think, the hi-hat. There you go. And a 2nd guitar, fattens it up. And then you get a little snare drum. The snare drum would be up here, by the way. Hi-hat, snare. That bass, dun 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 dun. It's muted. It's slapped. I don't know if he's actually slapping it, but it kind of has that slap effect. That dun 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 dun, and it's right on the kick, man, which is just powerful. There's the kick. And then it comes into the vocals, and just the way the vocal comes in is super cool. So you've got the hook, you've got this unbelievable riff, and then you've got the solo. In this particular song, the solo was done by my friend Art Kalinda. Art was a massive Richie Blackmore fan and influenced by him. And when he heard I was doing this song, he's like, dude, you got to let me do the solo. And I'm like, absolutely. And so here is his solo, and I'm going to solo it, which means I'm just going to let it play by itself. So listen to Art play this solo on Come to the Water. Slides off. I think that the one other element that just makes this killer is just the chorus. I think the chorus itself is just, come to the water. Of course, that was my version of it. But let's see if we can bring that up. Let's see what we get here. I don't know exactly what part of the song this is, but it looks like it might be the chorus. Come to the water and do your old lap die. Come to the water. It's pure coolness when it goes back into that hook, man. That's awesome. I just love that the way that works with the whole song. Come to the water. All right, let me talk about the lyrics a little bit here. This song is about, I mentioned baptism. Ultimately, it's about surrendering your life to Christ. The original song was about, I'm going to do some research and I'm going to drop it in here. Deep Purple were looking to record an album with a live sound. They wanted to get away from the studio sound. And in Europe, there's this place called Montreux. It was Montreux at the Casino, I think is what it was called. But it was just a small hall. And the way one of the band members described it, anytime you played Europe, you would play this place. It was a regular stop. And they thought, man, this would be a great place to record an album. It had a great sound. They liked it. And they secured it, and they were about ready to do it. They brought in what was cutting-edge technology at the time, kind of mobile recording gear, which I think they said was owned by the Rolling Stones, which is interesting. They said there was only a couple of them in existence at the time. I could be wrong. Check me on that. But anyway, they were preparing to do that, and somebody fired a flare gun. I have no idea why. You can dig deeper into this, but they said they saw it go to the back of the building. It seemed like it fizzled out. And then, long story short, it didn't fizzle out. Caught on fire. The whole place burned to the ground. The song talks about the Montreux burning to the ground. And they moved to another location, another kind of live type venue. And Richie just came into one of their rehearsals. They said they just had a few weeks between tour dates. And they were just wanting to record. And so he comes in with this riff, and bam, the song is just kind of, birthed. A lot of songs come that way. If you've been in bands, when inspiration is there and there's a cool hook, things fall together pretty cool and pretty quickly. And I forget which band member it was who said he woke up in the middle of the night and he said he didn't know if it was thinking about just the smoke from the burning down of the building hovering over the lake or what, but he came up with the phrase "smoke on the water." And bam, the rest is history. Again, you can go check this story out. They kind of tell it in the song, but it's a pretty interesting backstory. My version is all about just the fact that God calls us to follow him, and that in following him, he calls us to come to the water, right? And to die to our old life and step into this new one. So here is my lyric. Let me just add some drums because I think it helps. Just give a little groove to it. We'll add kick, snare, hi-hat, and we'll just go ahead and throw the bass in there just to help but when you leave the guitars out, it lets the vocals really shine through. So here we go.
He calls us all to follow, and by our faith with him to align, to live lives that are noble, and with those lives to share his love all the time, to live as sisters and brothers. We once were lost, but now we're found. We're foot soldiers in the kingdom, when we're called to share his gospel around. Come to the water.
Added the guitars back in, right?
Do your old life die. Come to the water.
Back into the hook. It's just pure coolness, man. All right. So that's a little bit of the behind the scenes on this tune. For some reason, this is one of those songs. I wasn't like a Deep Purple fan on the level of owning albums, but this song, I mean, if you grew up in the 70s or 80s, this is just part of the soundtrack of your life, man. So hope you love it. I'll leave, again, the link to the full song and the video, the lyric video, in the description. Be sure to check it out and share it with friends. And, hey, we'll continue to do these behind-the-scenes looks at how I build parts of these songs and what they're about each month as I release new songs. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. God bless you. Bye-bye.